All right, let's dive in. Today, we're taking a walk through the streets of Rijeka, but this is no ordinary city tour. This is a city where the buildings themselves tell an incredible story. It's not just about architecture, it's about walking through time, seeing how empires, wars, and big dreams are literally carved into the stone. So, let's get started. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Rijeka's architecture is like a living museum, and that's because so many different rulers and eras have left their mark here. It's like every corner you turn, you're peeling back another layer of history, uncovering another story from a culture that passed through.
So, where does a story like this even begin? Well, for our first chapter, we have to go way, way back to the very foundations of the city, laid down by some of the most organized builders in history, the Romans.
You know, the Romans were master planners. Their architecture was all about being practical, strong, and having a clear purpose. They built organized grids for streets, solid defensive walls, important public buildings. It was all designed to establish and maintain control. It was about creating order out of chaos.
And the amazing thing is, you can still reach out and touch this history today. The Roman Arch isn't just some old ruin. It's a direct, physical link to the city's very beginnings, just standing there quietly as modern life buzzes all around it. It's a powerful reminder of just how deep these historical roots go.
Now, after the Roman Empire fell, life got a lot more dangerous, and you can literally see that shift in thinking right here in the city plan. The orderly Roman grid on the left, built for control, gave way to the winding, narrow, defensive streets on the right. Architecture wasn't about projecting power anymore, it was about pure survival. In the Middle Ages, architecture basically became a shield. The city pulled in on itself, becoming this compact fortress of tall stone houses with tiny windows, all huddled behind thick walls. But it wasn't just about physical defense, people needed spiritual protection too. And that's why you see these huge religious buildings, like the Church of St. Jerome, rising up and dominating the skyline. They were spiritual strongholds. But then, as Europe enters the Renaissance, new ideas start to flow into Rijeka. And for the first time in centuries, architecture wasn't just about staying alive. It could be about beauty, about expression. And this was followed by the Baroque era, which took that idea of expression and just turned the drama and emotion all the way up. The Baroque style was designed to make you feel something. It's all about curves, dynamic shapes, and tons of rich decoration to create a sense of awe. A perfect example? St. Vitus Cathedral. Its really unusual round shape is a testament to this expressive, powerful era. It was absolutely designed to impress you. This new spirit of expression really set the stage for Rijeka's most transformative period ever. In the 19th century, the city became the main port for the massive Austro-Hungarian Empire. This just triggered an explosion of wealth and a construction boom that would change the face of the city forever. Now, this new era of prosperity needed an architectural language to match its ambition, and that language was neoclassicism. They were looking back to ancient Greece and Rome, kind of saying, "We are the new Rome." Its grand columns and perfect symmetry were the ideal way to project the power, order, and legacy of an empire on its government buildings, banks, and theaters. But here's what's so cool. Rijeka wasn't just speaking one architectural language during this boom. The city became a mix of styles, each with its own job. You had the grand neoclassical columns for government buildings, the nostalgic mix of styles and historicism to show cultural pride, and then the raw power of brick and iron for the industrial heart of the port. And if one building just perfectly captures the spirit of this golden age, it's the National Theater. It is a stunning example of historicism, and it just embodies the elegance, the wealth, and the soaring cultural ambition of a city at the absolute peak of its power. But that optimism, well, it couldn't last. The 20th century brought immense turbulence to Rijeka. A period of instability, 2 world wars, and radical political change would once again leave some very deep scars on the city's architecture. The century started with a fantastic burst of creativity, though. Art Nouveau, also known as the Secession style, was just full of optimism. It turned ordinary apartment buildings and shops into these beautiful works of art with its flowing lines and decorative details. It really reflected a belief in progress and a beautiful future.
Nothing captures the dramatic U-turn of the 20th century better than this. I mean, look at this comparison. On the left, you've got the playful, organic beauty of Art Nouveau, and on the right, the stark, functional pragmatism of the post-war socialist era. It's a visual shift from art to survival, from decoration to pure, urgent necessity.
The reason for this drastic change was the sheer devastation of World War II. Bombings left huge parts of the city in total ruins. So the challenge wasn't just to rebuild, but to house thousands of people and get the city working again, and they had to do it fast. So these large, uniform concrete blocks, they were not an aesthetic choice. They were a direct response to a crisis. They might look cold to us now, but for the people of Rijeka at the time, they represented survival. They were a pragmatic solution for thousands of families who had lost absolutely everything. And this brings us to modern-day Rijeka. How does a city with such a complex and sometimes painful past move forward? Well, it does it by embracing all of its layers and starting a conversation between its many, many centuries of history.
A key strategy for this revival is something called adaptive reuse. Instead of demolishing its industrial past, Rijeka is preserving the shells of old warehouses and factories and transforming their insides into these vibrant cultural spaces. It's a brilliant way to turn what could be seen as industrial scars into cultural assets.
And this is what makes the city so incredibly unique. In a single walk, you can see the entire story unfold. You can touch ancient Roman stone, stand in the shadow of medieval walls, and see a socialist block right next to a modern glass structure. The city doesn't hide its past or its scars, it puts every single layer on display. So, what makes Rijeka truly beautiful? It isn't one particular style or a perfectly preserved old town. Its beauty, I think, lies in its honesty. The city shows you its scars, its grand palaces, and its functional blocks with equal candor. It tells a complete and authentic story. And that's really the ultimate takeaway here. The story of Rijeka's architecture is the story of its people. Their resilience through empires and wars, their ambition in times of prosperity, and their enduring hope for the future. It's a powerful human story, written for all of us to see, in stone.